Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy tea time.
Happy Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk with our very special, they're not really cups.
Well, they're Costa Rican native fruits that we were so honored to be gifted from a plant. And this is the fruit, this is the shell of the fruit, in which inside we can pour some tea and have a nice natural cup.
Yeah. Hi, Doreen. Hi, Demetrius. Can you hear us? Can you just verify if you're going to? Chin chin. The salamati. Yeah. We can also use this as little like bowls, but this is what we decided to. You probably want more honey in it.
Fine.
I probably would want some cayenne in it. What are you all drinking? Hi, everybody. Hello, Natalia. Much love. You can hear us. That's beautiful. So much love. So much love. Hello, Christina. So nice to see you. So much love. It's so wonderful to have like a nature like this in our hands and drink out of. We're so grateful for this gift. It feels really beautiful. So we decided to have it with you. So today is fresh ginger, lemon, honey. What else? I know there's something else I put in here. I usually add the cayenne or like mint or goji berries or turmeric or other things, but none of that today. It's just this for our bellies. There was a lot of belly stuff going on. So much love, everybody. So nice to see you. Hello, 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 hello. So much love to all of you. What are you drinking? What tea do you have? Please tell us. Love to hear what tea you're drinking. We're so grateful that you took time just to be here, be present. There's so much we want to cover today. And we like to also go over it with you to hear it. Let's see. Demetrius, are you drinking any tea? We haven't heard from you, Demetrius, for a while. Let's see. Green tea, Doreen, with lemon. Wonderful. Peach tea. Thank you, Christina. Peach tea. That one, is it like a tea bag, or did you actually make it with peach? I'll be very curious. Let me see who else is drinking what tea.
Natalia said a jasmine pearl tea.
Oh, yum. I love jasmine pearl tea. I used to have in my product line, I had one jasmine pearl tea. And I took I got it from these growers in Mangfang Mountain in China. And I wanted to find out exactly. I learned so much about it. The way jasmine tea is very interesting because it gets very bitter. And it all has to do with the level, the way it's going on the mountain, the leaves, and the way the sun is hitting it. And with jasmine, you typically, as soon as you pour the hot water in it, when the jasmine, they put a lot of jasmines within the tea leaves, but you have to dump it out after 30 seconds first, and then put it in. Did you know that? Oh, you didn't know that because you were in China.
In China, and they do a lot of tea ceremonies where when you place the herb, depending how aromatic the herb is, or depending how strong it is, it depends on how much you keep into the tea.
Well, with jasmine particularly, otherwise it gets very bitter.
Right.
So within 30 seconds, you have to dump it out and then put the water in, then it brews properly. So it's really, really interesting. Oh my God. Yes, Demetrius, we're going to be talking about Ascension symptoms for sure. Okay, so thank you. So let's see, we have missed you all. Let's start with that. It's so nice to connect.
When's the last time? 222 was the last
So one. Yeah, we did talk. We did have a live stream. We had tea in the tea room in Costa Rica, and we haven't had one till 2 weeks before that. So here we are.
The last tea time was actually 222.
Exactly, that's when we had it. So welcome to our living room. We cleared a lot of stuff. Michael and I have been very busy cleaning, dusting. We did a lot, especially in our little balcony here. And here, we've gotten it pretty cleaned up now. We have then everything in our bedroom is being cleaned, and
Hello,
also
Fiorella.
hello, Fiorella, and the kitchen is gonna get also cleaned, and the closet we did before in the guest room. So what's very important, because this all of this ties into Ascension. Next week we have the most amazing spring equinox coming up. It's a full moon equinox. And for me, it's very, very important. Michael now has been with me, and he knows, like, I get very excited during this time because it is our new year. It is the it is a Persian New Year, and I don't really have attachment to the country. Yet the New Year's is just so important to me because it represents so much, and it's very symbolic in all the ways the 30 days before that we typically take in clearing everything. And so, the Iranians originally were pagans. They really understood the cycles, and especially earth elements. And so as a result of it, for us, it's very important to grow a few things, and like we do, to represent all the symbolic meaning for spring. And spring has so much meaning for us. So my kids know, like, you got to get everything cleaned up. You got to wear something new for the New Year's. But this energy has to clean. So it's interesting, when we dusted everything, like in the background, we rearranged a few things with the crystals, move things around. You can really feel the energy just by that. Though we keep our place really clean, yet the dust is very important. We dust it too, but it's like very deep cleaning.
And how funny is it that they have that term spring cleaning, but we're actually doing a winter preamp to spring, as right now we're getting 70-degree weather.
That's right.
And it couldn't be more warmer, sunnier in a time frame that really creates a huge week ahead of us.
Totally. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining.
Hello, Nancy.
So it's so important, because one of the things is we have a few more days. We have like 4 more days till the frequency of this powerful stargate of the equinox. We enter into it, and it happens to be on this 20th also. And we have this 2 energy in the middle of this Holy Trinity in this year of 2019. And so we come to the spring equinox. Oh, let me turn this off. The spring equinox is very important because it is that incredible 0-point field energy that is starting. So we're entering this space, and everything that we have put into the fall, everything that we have done in the winter, that deep, courageous steps we've taken through our ascension journey to face so many things, we're just coming out of it. And that's why the environment has to match it. We also physically, because we're in the physical form, it's important to physically clear things out of it to help match that frequency. That's why a good scrub is also important. Getting everything, putting on one of those beautiful clay masks, and just clearing as much as needed, so there's no obstruction or intrusion of energy between that sprouts that have the seeds that we have seeded and the sprouts that are emerging out, so that we can bear the fruit of them 3 months later for the summer solstice.
Definitely. And it's also interesting, as things are being cleansed and cleared of what happens within our body, within our stomach, within our physical vessel. Because
what do you feel you've been going through?
I've been noticing
the last month.
The last month, I would say, just my belly has been very, very sensitive, and just the foods that I've been eating. I mean, obviously we've been on the road a lot, so it's hard to really control a lot of times where we want to prepare our foods. Just the digestion, and really feeling not the complete nature of feeling clear. There's just been a lot of sensitivity to that. And I also attribute that to being on the roads. Yeah. I feel that I've been aware of that. And then also realizing that just my body sensitivity, the the nature of just being in different places, I'm just very receptive in general to what affects me on the exterior. So what any condition weather-wise, I notice my body's just been very, very sensitive in what's been moving through. So, but more specifically, it's been
Yours
the
has
belly.
been more your belly.
Belly.
So mine, as Michael knows, mine was for about a good 3 weeks, about 6:37, 7:30 p.m., like a baby. I was out, light cold, just I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I had to crash and it's like a very heavy landing crash. And the desire to sleep quite a bit. My body needed so much sleep and such severe dehydration and a lot of head pressure, tremendous amount of head pressure. And I could also experience it my shoulders and this lower back here. So I was experiencing a lot of um, physical tightness in my body, and the need to sleep quite a bit. I felt the dehydration was the most severe for me that I've ever experienced. So consciously started drinking even a lot more water, but being up around this 3:15, 3:15, 3:13 a.m., 3:33. And most of us keep going through this. And part of it is that window period where somehow we're receiving higher communication that's taking place. Last night I went through it again, waking up. And last night was interesting because I'm going to tie this to one of our beloved listeners, Sekhun Ra, who is also known as Billy. Such a sweetheart. We began getting to know him through my first originally through my Facebook fan page. Then he started joining us here, and he's been such a sweetheart. And we learned recently that he'd been in coma for 2 weeks. So there's a group of us that have been putting a lot of prayer in for him. And thankfully, he came out of coma a couple of days ago, but he still is in induced coma.
And it's been beautiful to see many people support him, bringing good love messages, and just the prayers of the continual levels of healing since he's gone through many different types of energies that have affected his well-being. Obviously, in the transformation and cleansing for the higher good of the spirit.
Yes, and so last night I woke up with his presence very much present here, and part of today's tea time was to just really visualizing a space of wellness for him, for the highest good of his soul, for the highest good for his mother, for his family, and all the friends that are really pouring this energy into it. And special gratitude for Solara that put this together. So I wanted to just, while we're at it, maybe we can do a prayer for him. Yeah, I feel that would be wonderful. So can I just, before we go further, can I invite you all also to join together with us so we can offer a circle of love through our Ascension team for beloved Billy. He is, I believe, in Netherlands, and I believe he's there currently. He was last in Ibiza and then with Solara and went back, and then he's battled health for a number of years, and yet his energy is so crystalline. He's such a sacred being of light and has so much to offer. And I really feel by being in this induced coma state, there is an agreement with him, his higher self, that he is determining whatever way this is going to go, just so that he can bring a lot of good onto earth, as he already has, just to gather all of us together, pray. And look, now we're going to go ahead and also pray for him. So let us bring our hands into our heart. Can I have you do the prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's take a deep breath in. And just feel our beautiful heart in this great love that we send out to Billy in great honor, respect to our dear brother of the transformations that are happening. We thank and give great gratitude to the beautiful angels, the ascended masters, Elohim, Mother Earth, of bringing forth the divine force and allowing the resurrection of his soul to be brought forth in perfect balance, and to allow and surrender what needs to be washed away, and bringing this force of love and light to fully embody him, embodying our hearts and our love for him and the entire universe of this most powerful force, in bringing balance, harmony, and divine nature, connecting him to his spirit for the highest good of all. We honor this sacred soul and the light that he shines upon us as it expands through our hearts, through this earth, and through the entire universe, as it envelops us and opens us to our greatest higher self. We give great blessings, joy, and happiness in this healing and in this transformation, reminding us that we're all here in this great evolution and ascension, in raising our vibrations and honoring all that comes through, surrendering, accepting, and trusting the divinity that is here before us in our most perfect hearts. We thank you, Billy, for shining your beautiful smile, your great innocence, and the softness that each of us can feel just through your great spirit. And as we honor all energies, all spirits, all ancestors that are working in their divine nature to clear and lift what is going through you, going through us, and the entire collective, we thank you for being here and honoring the light and love that shines through our hearts in this beautiful miracle of life. With the highest blessings, the highest love, and the highest light, we thank you, Billy, for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that you will do, in great honor and respect to your beautiful soul.
And let us see Sekhun Ra, Billy, in his highest form of light, highest form of health, highest form of divinity. So there's no suffering. And his physical body, his emotional body, his mental body, his etheric body, his spiritual body, aligning with his higher self, so he can come into full harmony and radiate his beautiful Christ light so easily and freely. And so it is. Thank you. That was so wonderful. Oh, sweetie, that was so wonderful. I could feel him so strongly.
And for you, and for those that don't know, he's, when you just see his picture and you see his face,
let me see if I can
and
pull
you
it up
see
for a
the
second.
radiance of this beautiful soul, it's very heart touching, because even though those that may not know him, through just an image or just through a common knowledge of where he can be stand, then
this is Billy, everyone.
He's a very beautiful, beautiful
sacred,
soul.
Sacred being. And he's been in here with us. Some of you may know him already. He's been on just about all of our Friday Tea Time Essential Talks. So
we
thank
dedicate
you so much
today toward Billy
and all the love captured here to just continue to expand to him.
And for those that Billy represents in areas of chronic areas that sometimes we don't have labels, meetings, or diagnosis or cures, he is a representation of thriving high, and knowing that that healing that comes from within shows that anything is possible, and there's nothing and no absolutes to keep the limitations from what may be classified or determined by an opinion. So today we honor Billy as a reflection of all of those that are in his same place. We share those blessings so that that too can raise the light and love within our Christed hearts.
Love you, Billy, and look forward to having you back on Friday Tea Time very, very soon. I know your mother has been showing you all the messages we've all been sending to you. So our heart to her as well. So ascension time, these are all part of the ascension. A lot of physical updates, a lot of literally transformational updates. The plasma blasting rays from the galactic center have been nonstop coming to Gaia. So it's very interesting. I feel like one of the things is important to know. Robert, can you shut that one or that one? Because there's a lot of air coming now.
Getting cold?
No, I'm just sweaty. I'm getting sweaty now, but it's also a little bit cool coming. Thank you, my love.
Cold.
Yeah,
wow.
at the same
I'm
time.
actually sweaty.
It's this ascension. I told you, it's all the ascension. So let Michael come for a second. I just want to make sure we haven't left anything here. So the one of the things that I feel is very important to know, our blood has this plasma in it. The plasma is gold. This plasma it already comes from the great central sun. It's inside our blood. So in our higher bodies, we don't have it the way it is on Earth. It is totally a different color, but there's still a vein that is running through it, and it is powered by the solar energy. Most people don't know this. So of course, there's a whole nother topic that I can get into that, but I'm going to contain myself and remain right here. So when these plasma blasts are taking place, they're coming onto Gaia. Gaia herself, because she's a living, breathing organism, she is a mother, she is a living angel. She knows how to expand this enough through the oxygen in her plasma just so that there is space in her. And she knows through the nature of her how to release some of the pressure, such as, like, let's say through a tsunami or earthquake or volcano eruption or a tornado or typhoon, whatever. So there's this natural gifts within her, and that's also within us, as these plasma within us is blasting open. So our cells, and as this blood is running through us, it's pumping through the heart. So the energy is the golden Christed heart. I really want to get detailed with this. The Christed heart that we talk about, this ray of Christ, the Christed being, is because at this cellular structure, when we get a microscope and we really look, we see these hollow spaces between our cells and atoms, but we also see right all the way when it gets very, very tiny, that there are all these crystalline structures in us. And then that's also within our blood. So what we really are, we are light being, we know that. And we're also crystalline being, we already know that. Yet there's this carbon DNA within us that's been sort of like deactive, literally. So it's been activated. So what's happening, that part of us that is in a molecular structure that's so refined in its fractal, it's now, we're having our own tsunami, but more earthquake, like the volcanic eruption. And we're going through all of those ourselves. So everything from the inside is coming out. And it is literally coming out of our cells, coming out of our blood. Because as Christed being, crystalline being, the pressure has built up enough over the years, the pressure of disharmony, that now this harmonious nature of our godhood, our true essence of our divine self, our higher self, as it's pushing to come into the physical body so that it can house in. All of these pressures are creating these massive pressures. So there's this sort of like eruption in us, and the physical body, you can tell. Like Michael did a massage on me the other day. I was like, God, like it feels like my whole from inside just wants to come out, like a metamorphosis, like the material morphosize, it's getting out. Like I feel like merging out. So it is that liberation, that liberation. So that's really what's happening. As a result of it, there is a full transformation of our inner core structure, because finally on the planet there is enough frequency of these light quotients, of this plasma. They're all diamond frequency have come before. It can hold now the container of the diamond. So now the plasma is blasting so that we can move into it with more ease and peace. But there is really like a explosion, like there's a star burst, like how stars are burned inside of us. And that's why all of these other parts, debris inside, that are less than our divine truth, less than our divine nature, less than the full expression of who we are, can no longer even be tolerated by ourselves. It's so funny. Like the I am that we are, the truth that we are, cannot tolerate our bullshit anymore. Our own bullshit. Forget other people's bullshit. Our own bullshit. It cannot. So it's like pushing, like enough. Like there's the emergence of the higher body that has put this time release capsule, right? So finally the pressure is like a cooking pressure. It's built enough. That's it. Can't take it. I'm coming in. And that's literally what I feel is happening, because that's what I'm experiencing it. And so that way, all aspects of us, so it's not out over there. The universe is not out there. The universe is here. The whole thing is here. So that in which we experience on our outer, especially like our team members, such as the spirit guides, the spirit guardians, the ancestors, the angels, ascended masters, the Elohim, all of that is fully activated within us. It's inside of us, and that's where we can receive them very easily. It's not like it's over there. It's just it's that oneness. So as a result, we have so many encounters constantly taking place so that we can choose consciously, are we in harmony with the fullness of we are? And I feel that there's another thing that's taking place is, as we are being the true nature of that which we are, in our expression, in our service, in our living nature, wherever we're positioned, we're no longer hiding our light, because we recognize our light has to fully be blasted open. We're not there pushing our light on anybody. We're just like I've always used the example, like a sunflower. The sunflower is like, I am a sunflower. I'm not going to go try to be a leaf. I'm not going to go try to be like a orchid. I am a sunflower. And the orchid is like, I am an orchid. It's just this ownership. Just like a surgeon is going to be like, I am a surgeon. Like, this is what I'm called to. So you no longer hold, like when you're a medium, I'm a medium. This is the way in which the divine part of me is bringing its goods through. So there's no more holding back. And that's why we also have a hard time with those that they're not, we call it not living their truth. That's really not what it is. They may very well be aware of their divine truth, but they just might have the strength enough or the will completely to fully allow their divine truth to move through them. So as a result, they can't fully accept others, or sometimes they accept others, but they still want to keep a distance.
Or they unconsciously block it because
they're
not living their truth. And what happens is we see that specifically with the ones closest to us, our family, the ones that are in our closest circles, because many of us, it's interesting, as our light shines, as we open up, there's all of these tests out there through the codes of really living it and being it. And it's interesting how when we completely honor within ourselves without judging, without creating any opinion on others, but as these frequencies rises, it's also interesting just to take note of where people are at in their own journey, and just see how that affects us, because many times it's easier for us on the outside to really look at this, but on the inside, many of us and many others, as it's coming up, what we see a lot of times, it doesn't feel comfortable, or we deem it it's not okay, so we reject it. And a lot of times what I've learned, especially in this past month, is just the power of surrendering, and really surrendering to what's coming forth, because in that surrendering gives that allowance of just letting go and flowing with the trust of what's moving forward. Many times we resist or we fight what's coming up because it doesn't feel comfortable, or what we've seen many times, what comes up, the mental body automatically diagnose it as something that's wrong with us, versus what we're being cleansed through, or what we're being transformed through. So it's
and the mental body is there. There's a couple of parts I want to dissect on that, because the mental body is there. So we have this physical body, we have then the emotional body, we have the mental body, we have the etheric body, spiritual body. Each of those bodies are the governors of the other body. So the mental body governs the emotional body. The minute the emotional body is in trouble, the mental body kicks in to help protect it. So there's this intelligence place force, but it's supposed to be the temporary. Yet sometimes the emotional pain is so much, or whatever that is, so it stays there a whole lot longer. And why I'm sharing that is because there is this, again, this fluid in our body, whether it's in our lymph nodes, whether it is in our sexual energy, our sexual juices, in our plasma, in our red blood cells, all these fluids in our body, they're all being purified, they're all being cleansed, they're all being given the opportunity from all timelines, all planes, to finally bring that in which is in the past or the future into this present. So we really recognize there is no past or the future, it's just now, and now contains all of it. So that's why multiple level of things are happening multidimensionally, just so that we can go through this resurrection of major purification. And that's why, look, if you really look at it, we have this thing called, after the spring equinox, we have the Easter resurrection, but there's a lot more underneath it. Part of it has to do with the way the sun comes in, and through the sun we are able to bring a lot more in, and then arise in that frequency. So it really has to do with the frequency and alignment.
And it's interesting, what I've noticed through you, honey, in the past month, is that increased level of sleep and rest. And really, for everyone that understands that sometimes rest we don't really understand, but our biggest healing occurs in our rest.
Yeah.
When our body is in its complete natural state of rest, relaxation, that's where everything within starts occurring. So it's very common that feeling more sleepy, having that opportunity where it's been interesting with honey, just watching her go to bed at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock, or be knocked out and be like, oh my goodness, I'm getting tired. And honey's hilarious, because it's not like, some people just go, I'm going to sleep. Honey's like, it's like, okay, it's like a robot. It's like 1, 2, 3, I'm out.
It's a switch. It's
like,
literally a switch. I was like, Michael, I give him a warning, like
Which-
within a minute or so. Michael, I'm about to go. I'm out.
If most people understand, she's working at a high galactic voltage, that that it's running at a high speed, so somewhere it needs to slow down. Point being is, when we're feeling that, to honor our well-being and honor that time to rest. And sometimes we go for the ginger teas. Last night I ate something which really made my belly quite nauseous at a movie, but part of it is just giving it time, giving it rest, and most important, trusting that we don't need anything on the outside other than what it is to just create that balance within the inside. Because a lot of times it's so easy to figure out what to do to fix it. And so resting, I find that it's so important to bring that within our bodies.
The reason rest is so important, as Michael shared, and he's seen me, is this, and I've gone through this cycle before where I'm sleeping very long hours. But part of it is I feel the physical exhaustion and tiredness and dehydration. But what is actually happening is my bodies are integrating with this higher light that is coming in. So when I'm sleeping, my physical body can adjust to the assimilation of it, versus if I'm getting very little sleep, I cannot function properly and I can't integrate this properly. And there is a window when this happens, that from a place of higher self-love, it's very important to allow the space of transformation. So it's exactly like if you know about caterpillars, when the caterpillar goes inside, it goes inward and it needs that space. Otherwise, it cannot become a butterfly. It will hurt itself. And this is also with us. If we don't give the the necessity of this rest period, that the our our human body has a bit, it's miraculous, it's amazing, but it has its limitation. And because we are on earth, there's certain things, it's unfortunately it is what it is, we just accept this. So we have to collaborate with the laws within the collective consciousness that we have placed forth ourselves, such as we've accepted gravity exists here. So as a result of it, we have not yet gotten out of the consciousness that gravity doesn't exist, so that we can have a little bit more of a free space. Or we have accepted we can't teleport. So as a result of it, we don't have easily that, because there's a bounding of the collective conscious agreement that has agreed to that that limitation so tight. So each of us are slowly pulling out of it. It's kind of like a goo we're pulling at until we're completely free, through becoming free out of it. So just one second, my love. So as a result of it, when we give ourselves that necessary rest, we also have to let go of other things so that we create that space within us. Otherwise, we hurt ourselves and we hurt others. Otherwise, we're not grounded properly and we start bringing material that has not been integrated. And as a result, it doesn't have proper validity. And we're like blasting these powerful rays through us with no responsibility.
And I like what you said. It is that really fundamental integrational time. In that rest, we're giving permission for that to unfold. In that rest, we're honoring ourselves, which undoubtedly gives us that self-respect, self-nourishment, self-value, self-appreciation, all coming back to self-love. And I know even in our society, sometimes rest can be taken advantage of because we always want to move forward, or if we feel that we're resting too much, we're not productive. Yet it's amazing in this integration time of what comes forward. And I love what you said, honey, as all this is blasting through us, if we're not grounded, if we're not connecting, then we're not fully feeling the energy that is now allowing us to grow to our highest expansion of light. And many of us, I know, even light workers, we're excited to do all these things and to help, but we really have to step back many times just to honor what goes through. Even when with Costa Rica, and honey came home for her children, and there was a week where literally just to spend in Miami, to just take in all that came through, so that can be absorbed and then applied. If we go too quickly or we jump too fast, then we're walking kind of like
we're wobbly and awkward. Yeah. So the earth element, we are earth element. We're made out of these beautiful construct. Because we are on earth, we've had to incarnate. So this earth element becomes such an important vessel in which all of our gifts has to come through it. So the grounding becomes very important. Like every single day within those 3 weeks, I had to take a little nap, mini nap. I was like, Michael, I'm out. And he's like, okay, sleep longer. But usually it's like a 5-minute nap. And again, it's the same thing.
5 minutes?
5
like,
minutes.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, or sometimes. But it's very quick again. Everything for me is a galactic speed fast. But even within that, I am so knocked out, gone to another universe, I'm back. And so what's happening is I'm resetting, I'm readjusting. And I feel a lot of times because of our commitments, because of our earthly obligations, because of our societal pressure, we're not giving ourselves the necessity of what our higher being needs in combination with our physical vessel, our earth element, so that it can do its work. Because part of it is we've forgotten that we are spirit. We've forgotten that we're not just a human. We've forgotten so much. We've forgotten. So as we've gone through the awakening journey in remembering, we're slowly remembering certain things. And as a result of it, we're beginning to embrace more of what we are. So these ascension symptoms from the fatigues is the vertical axis is pouring in through the light codes through us. And then it needs to expand into the horizontal axis. So if you look at Earth, for example, like let's say this sphere of ball, right? There is this vertical energy that is streaming through this 144th dimension, all the way from source light coming in. And then right through the center, as it goes through Mother Earth, it also has to expand. So that's what's happening through us. As it's coming through us and we're connected to Earth, then it also has to expand. And that's why we need this sleep, so that we can also, as it expands, we can connect to the same resonance. We call this all this human resonance, because we're starting to integrate with the same resonance of the heartbeat of Mother Earth. So we're not like falling apart. And in our events, in our gathering, we just see so many people so ungrounded and causing so much problem with themselves, and a lot of health problems. Quite a bit of health problems. So part of it is because the integration, they're not giving themselves the necessary time that is required, because they're on to another one and another one and another one.
And it's in that balance. And what I appreciate is in this time frame when we're becoming more aware of our multidimensional reality, when we're becoming more aware of our eternal nature, then it gives us the permission to let go even further. Because I love what you said. A lot of us, just through programs and conditions, we identify to this human body. And it's attachment. We're attached to this human body. Now, it's one phase to truly honor the human body and what it needs in the 3D, as in sleep, as in food and rest. But another part is to also expand beyond that and realize what our ability is as all this is coming down, so we can give higher respect, higher honor, because what's happening now is this golden age that is coming through us, but it has to come through us. I love how you said it so elegantly.
It's coming from the blood.
From the blood.
Plus, with the gold is coming out of us, like those gold particles.
And what's so interesting is, many of us, especially those who've gone science, we see what we believe. But what I love what Hani said is the ascended masters, the angels, the guardians, the guides, all the orders are within us. They're already within us, coming through us. And that to me is such a profound way to see that, because then we really look deeper within us, saying, okay, if this holy, divine, galactic, amazing, God-like nature is within us, coming through us, then how can I keep the vessel in its cleanest, in its lightest, and its clearest vibration, so they can operate through us as we are the conduit of it. And that to me gives greater inspiration, it gives greater motivation of how important it is through rest, how important it is through discipline, how important it is through our health to allow.
But it becomes the action of love, right? So a lot of people will always say we have a very strong practice, is because it's the devotion to love. It's the devotion to this consciousness. It's the devotion, like I won't do without it. It's out of love, not because somebody's forced me, not because I'm following a religion, not because I feel there's a certain philosophy. No, none of that. It's because I feel and I know that truth in me so deep. So out of love and respect, I'm willing to show up, because I know that is showing up in me to come through. So there's this mutual divinity that is taking place, and it's just beautiful beauty. And so, and Jesus on earth always said the kingdom of heaven is within. Everything's within. And of course, there's so much, and there's this, everybody becoming Christ. Not Jesus became the Christ. This Christ is all has to be crystalline, because we already are. We're just allowing the crystallized nature of us step forward. So when it's step forward, it's become resurrected. It's so simple. It's so simple and
So
beautiful
simple.
and easy. And then there's wars over this. It's the craziest thing.
And it's funny because
you have to read some of this for me.
It reminds, it's so simple. It reminds me of the movie that we watched last night, Captain Marvel, and how they, called our planet C54, and like, ugh, that planet. And it's funny because, as many look at our planet, as we look at our planet, the simplicity of what we're expressing and what comes through is, it's just right in front of us.
Yeah.
Yet,
and it's right in us.
It's right in us. Yet, what's outside of us, and what many of us have to do and really deal with in a day-to-day access of all the energies outside, is really the true Earth school of how we hold our vibration and hold our frequency in the simplicity of it, yet being it in the action of it with our daily brothers and sisters, who many are going through hard times, who many are having challenging. And that's where I find that expression of love, that Christ at heart, when Jesus points to his heart, it's through our hearts that's when
the golden sacred
the golden sacred heart. And that's when we get the opportunity to apply our compassion, to apply our love, to apply our ability just to be in that Christ itself, because we know that out there, it is a very dense world. And that's I feel, as our biggest test to express this holy energy through us is one thing to be said. Now the trueness is to be done. And our examples are every single day. The closest the closest people, whether it's our children, our parents, our closest friends, it's almost like the sign comes up and says, how much more compassion and love can you give to someone that's hurting or may not like you, or maybe fighting with you or arguing, or you turn on the news, read the paper, and again, your heart sinks. And it's like, here we go. How much compassion and love? Because as we're talking from our hearts and our holy space and our sanctuary, the next step is to say, okay, now we have to take it out there.
And I feel that's exactly also, as we talked about, this is what happened to us when we didn't make it to Brazil. We ended up in Costa Rica, and all the interaction we had. And it's just this continuous. So I feel like Michael and I finally got to this place now. Suddenly, finally, it's like the light on the other side of the tunnel. We're like, oh wow, there's a cosmic joke. We're finally on the cosmic joke together, laughing, because it felt like it was like I don't even know what to call it. But now it's like, ha ha ha. Oh, I get it now. Ha ha ha. You put us in this situation again, just to see, okay, can we just go through it with the grace of God inside, with that illumination of the golden Christ at heart? Can we stay right here? Can we not go anywhere else? And really, that's what it is. And some days we're better, some days we're not. Like the other day, and it's very easy for us to come just talk about this, but I feel it's important to share some personal things, living through it, like literally examples are very important. So like this week, we've been going through quite a bit with my younger son, and he doesn't want to play a sport, and this is really crushing his father. And he's very much devoted to his video games. And of course, and my younger son is so athletically gifted. This is crushing his father. So as a result of it, again, missing school again, didn't want to go. So part of me, I've stepped out of understanding this very differently. And then he didn't want to go to work. He didn't, he wasn't feeling good. He called me last night. He's like, come get me now. And very rude and in that tone of teenager boy energy. So as I went, he was a little bit short. I said, no problem. I'll handle it later. But it was so interesting because I was able to stay here. I said, okay, I'll talk to you later. I didn't take on his energy into me because him and I are so close, and children, like I can just observe all of that, as I've done so much of my life, right into my field and feel awful, but I kept it here. And then also in communication with his dad and his brother, all of that. But I didn't get flustered, anything like. I really remain here, and I talked to them today, and just in this beautiful mood. And I said, "Wow, look." So he again gave the opportunity. Okay, I'm going to throw this situation, see what you all will do, and I felt like I did well.
You reacted very well.
I responded, not reacted. I responded. Reaction is when you are triggered. I responded like a call response, but no reaction. And I feel that's a difference. That's what's happening. There's no more reaction. It is responding.
And it's very powerful how the universe and the team above really examines and watches our ascension through our response. Mm-hmm. It's the trueness in our response and even our reactions from triggers of how well are we able to move through that, and how well are we doing in a way that's not pulling us in, because many times when this happens we get pulled so easily, or we're so vulnerable because our sensitivity is so heightened. So to watch
we have
that
emotional
response
ties,
and to feel
all of that
and to have that response or reaction or to what goes, it's to honor that, but it's also to feel the ease and flow and grace of when something comes. Because Honi's like, well, what do we call this Brazil / Costa Rica? Well, I call it like, okay, we're going to take the sheet underneath you and pull it so that everything doesn't just stay still. Everything's going to be thrown up in the air. And as it all gets thrown up in the air, now our response of seeing before catching it, how are we going
and how we're going to, it's kind of grabbing him slowly, putting him here.
But even before that, I felt like on a normal, 3D dimension, we would be grabbing slowly. What I felt was before they all came down, our next step was to see how we were going to respond to each other in our divine union, to honor, because the biggest test is anything that was unplanned, surprise, pulled away. How are we now going to,
instead of the old energy, blaming each other, like
getting angry, getting upset, and really watching our own ability to see how we're going to even give more love and more compassion in time periods where it could be a normal reaction to get upset. And I felt through this opportunity, Honi and I did a very incredible job in recognizing in the parts that the masculine had to stand up, the parts where the feminine had to embrace. It was really a beautiful test and a tribute, a testament to how far we've come, but also to see what happens when there's months and months and months of planning. And before you know it, the universe throws you a little screwball. And before anything happens, we're now here, before catching everything, is in working together in our own love to be of that Christ at heart. Because again, one person alone, very simple, but when working as a team in a divine union, and to have this place in front of us was, I thought, one of the biggest. That was another one, a little pat on the back, and again, smiling and laughing, because I really feel that it's this art of surrendering, allowing, and letting go, and trusting.
It's very important what Michael said, and we're going to read your comments in just a second. We started this 2019. There is a Holy Trinity. There is the sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine, the sacred divine child. It's all merging into this oneness energy. It's all coming forward. We have these, like this March, we have 4 major gateways. We had on 3/3, we had on 3/12, we have one on 3/21 next week, then we have one on 3/30. I mean, this is no joke. So when these are happening, there are these influxes of frequencies coming in, and each of them are bringing the light into the areas in our life that need to be sort of like tightened in its frequency. So it's not, debris are not there. It's kind of like, let's say the dust inside of it is being cleared. It has to come out clear. And once we really recognize ascension, we have incarnated, all 7 billion plus of us, onto earth for whatever reason. We've incarnated to take part of ascension, period. on Earth. And there's a whole lot of teammates in many different planets and star systems are watching this. And they're helping us. Some of us are seated here like star seeds. We purposely seated ourselves here while our other body is on the ship, the other body is in the future, the other body watching, and is constantly taking in more. And I want to talk about the 144,000. There are very specific, some of us that take ownership knowing we're part of the 144,000. And what that is, we chose to take part in that particular frequency on the planet during the ascension, so that this light stream can work through us in the most intense way, so that it can be anchored into Earth. It has to anchor through our physical vessel. So that means it has to come through our body's etheric, mental, emotional, physical body, so that it can go into Earth. There's this gold frequency that changes into silver coming in. There's this platinum ray coming, and there's just so much happening. So why this is important is that ascension is not against us. Ascension is for us. All these things are not happening to you. That is washing away from the victim consciousness to that it's happening for me, for my highest grace of divine that wants to come through. So there's a whole change of consciousness on a planetary level in the collective that is taking place. And those of us who are at the forefront of it with this 144,000, we're the big transformer anchors. And I feel it's very important to own it and not sort of hide away from it. Oh, take it lightly. Like for me, I take it very serious because, and I know I always hear people, like sometimes I hear Michael say, well, you shouldn't take this life so seriously. I actually take it very serious because I know I'm on a mission here, and there's a certain period that I'm here to deliver what is asked, and I'm in communication. So I actually take it very serious because I'm devoted. I'm devoted in taking part in creating the change that I chose to embark and bring forth. And I'm also very aware that I'm one part of the other ones that also chose this. So fully grasp under the awareness, heart standing, understanding that this is a together work. And I'm only committed to my part. And I cannot do the part that's my part. I can't do the part that's yours. I can assist in just very quick little assistance, but you have to do the part yourself. So giving the power back to you, responsibility back to you, and refusing to take it on me because I will not be able to deliver what I'm asked to deliver. So I really wanted to share that. So as we're going towards this full moon, and we're getting, again, equinoxes are very powerful because it has an impact for several months after. Then we have the summer solstice coming up. There's quite a bit taking place. We have a major 4/4 gateway coming up as well. So why these are important? Because that in which is not in the resonance and the frequency of your divine true self, your sovereign being, the wholeness of who you are has to show up in you, around you, so you can make a choice and act from a place of love that this is not in harmony. Empower yourself to be able to say no to it. So that way it can, with your own resurrection, you're standing up to it.
How beautiful with this equinox coming forward on Wednesday, it also is pivotal that there's a full moon on that equinox. Here we are moving out of winter, and we're also giving opportunity for the full moon and the equinox, as we know with spring, the beginning, the rebirth, the growth. At the same time, there's the full moon, which we're now burning away, letting go, and releasing the debris. So on one day, here we are shifting from winter, the time period where we all know that shadow part of us has been blatantly in front of our face. Times of the year where many things arise for us to now release and let go. How powerful the day now to allow that, to write that down, to burn that away, and welcome what's coming forward. Because, one thing that I really appreciate about spring is it's such an inviting time to plant and to bring forth all of the seeds of our dreams, all of the beauty.
Well, we have planted. Now it's coming forth, right?
I mean, well, but we planted, but in the springtime is when we plant the seeds. In the early spring, because as the cold is now being washed away, now brings the warming, and that warmth that invites us. I love this rebirthing process, this element that, like, wow, we've gone through the winter. We were able to look at our shadows. We're able to release. And now we're able to welcome, especially in those areas that have the 4 seasons, those beautiful daffodils, the forsythia, all the colors that start to rise and really paint that vibration gives us that time to be like, wow, where can I rebirth in myself? How can I resurrect the areas that I want to really bring forth? Because as we know, this springtime is really this powerful emergence,
and it's the creative energy fully coming, because you've cleaned the house. Now you can,
and I feel like it's what's beautiful is it's also a sense of that anew, that sense of where we can really start in a way that here we are with the full moon. Okay, burn clear, and now we're in a new phase of like, wow, here comes the fullness and excitement of how we now can thrive in the months coming ahead. Now, obviously, depending what hemisphere we're in, because we're talking more on the Western hemisphere, it's the reverse. Moving to the Eastern hemisphere, it's still this powerful cycle that we all feel throughout the world. So as each of us are holding it, I just really get excited, because in this springtime, it's just such an excitement. There's such this beauty of like what's emerging, what's growing, what's coming out of us for these powerful times, because we've been all going through a lot, and to hold each other in that support, and most importantly, not feel alone, because even us that, many people look at beings of spirit, beings that are focused on it, those lessons can even be twice as hard, because we're being challenged sometimes weeks, months ahead of time to fully be tested, so we can share this with all of our beautiful brothers and sisters, equally going through the levels of what we need to in our own ascension, yet being thankful and grateful for what comes through. And I find one of the biggest things that we can do when this arises is to go back, thank the headache, thank the stomach ache, thank the body pain, really give blessings to it, because we reject it so much that sometimes we personalize it, and then we start to maybe feel the disappointment, or maybe because we're so sensitive, there's old points of what we've seen previously, yesterday, shame coming up, just to honor that, because like anything else, it's the attention that we can give with the love, the compassion, to help raise that vibration, which is all coming forth to help us evolve.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's so interesting, because I just find that a lot of times we can be so harsh on ourselves at what comes through us and the ascension symptoms. And I feel like even before we were talking about, it may not even be the ascension, it's the plasma.
But I think what's important, especially like when you're with somebody else, to be able to have the power, have the respect for yourself, to communicate clearly. Like I was like, Michael, I'm going to bed. If you can't be in bed now, go in the other room. But just out of love, because I need that rest, to be able to communicate your truth very clearly. And it's not from a place of at all disrespecting another, but like several nights, Michael had to sleep in the room, because I'm middle of the night, I'm up and I'm a tumbleweed, tossed and turning. So why would we want to hurt ourselves? Our love is pretty stable. There's nothing to prove to each other. Self-love, very, very important. Self, not from an egoish consciousness, that higher self-love, respect. I've got to respect the space that I'm in. And like finding the energies that have been imbalanced, bringing it really good evaluation. Okay, where are the areas that I need to, where the energy is overexpanded, I got to pull it in, just so that the energy can be balanced. When it's balanced, I'm in a better mood, I'm kinder, I'm more compassionate, I'm loving, I can serve greater. So all of these are the necessary part of being very honest, very open, very, very clear in our voice. And that's that rise of the sacred divine feminine. That's the rise of the Magdalene consciousness, the Magdalene voice that's been so suppressed on the planet, that doesn't give the ability, like for example, in a dynamic like us, like if Michael is not in sleeping bed, then I might feel bad or something is wrong. It's like, no, We love each other. I need you to get good rest. I need to get good rest. Clear communication. That becomes from an act of pure love, nothing else than other than respecting each other very, very much. So I feel that's important. Michael, I'm going to use the restroom. Can you just read some of these comments? We want to know how you're doing real quick. So plus I need to also get into child pornography. This is very important when I come back from restroom. Michael, can you just
sure I'll go through.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you guys for sharing. Also, we want to make sure that this is interactive. We're expressing from what we want to bring forward in the messages, but we also want to be open to hear what is going through in each of your personal lives, as in the ascension, what's happening, if there's any questions, or just what you're feeling and moving through, because we keep saying these are powerful times, but really many of you that are watching are very sensitive. And I feel like as sensitive beings, we feel so much. And a lot of it, that feeling can be wonderful in the times that we embrace and like, wow, this is great. But then there's other times where we feel these symptoms, or we feel this energy that may not be so great. And we have to accept that too. Yet knowing that we're not alone, we're doing this together. And just to check in with all of you beautiful heart spirits and just seeing what's moving through you, what you're aware of, and just things that are affecting, because these are all patterns and all vibrations that we're going through together. And the more that we're able to express each of us as a whole, as in one, and that helps bring us more connection. So I'm just going to go through with, let's see. So Demetrius, solar plexus issues, very powerful. That is, our center of fire. Many times, our fire can be easily affected in place and vibrations that can distract our light work. And I totally feel the solar plexus is a very common area for many of us.
1 second. For solar plexus, I want to just offer you can really ask the fire dragons to help support your fire element, your solar plexus, and the auric field, and ask the areas that may be dense in your field of in your bodies that is creating this. Have the fire dragons to use their fire to clear, purify it, and then you can ask Archangel Gabriel's healing angels to really help bring the diamond lights all in that area to help support it and the higher frequency. Read, baby. I can't because I can't.
So it says from Farah Blanca, honey, since you're channeling with Hilarion, the iridescent blue dragons, the blue avians, and the Arcturian High Council have introduced themselves to me. They told me they were stepping onto my team. Thank you.
Ooh, I just got so many truth bombs. Thank you so much.
Connections are happening very quickly now.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice. One second. Yeah. Can you please on that link for the channeling the masters, can you please write that on their comment? I so appreciate it, because it will help people when they come, they see that, they'll see how it supported them. I'll be so grateful. I can send you the link, or you email me, I'll send you the link. I would be so grateful. Thank you for that.
So Demetrius, we love you, dear brother. Thank you for all of your beautiful statements, all the wisdom that comes through, because I feel like as we're speaking, the messages are coming streamlined through you. So we always honor everything that you say and everything that's being expressed, brother. It's such a gift that we can have someone that just feels it, writes it, and includes everyone else. So always in our hearts.
You're an amazing portal.
We thank you
an amazing portal.
For all the things that you're doing with us and involving everyone around us. So just blessings to all of your beautiful statements and all the energies that are coming forward, because we are very, very, very grateful.
Oh, what happened?
Okay, come down. Much like to
what is this?
Stomach, lower chakra sensibility for a while. So, I personally feel that the 3 lower chakras are the most vulnerable areas within
those are all the ones coming up for evaluation.
And that's coming up for evaluation. And it's interesting, especially our first chakra, our groundingness, because a lot of things can easily, be thrown around. So it's interesting how those energies come up. You're not alone. I think we all feel them right now, and it's a very, very common one. Doreen said, heart walls breaking down, deep love for masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Even in a lot of the
Yeah.
healings that I've done, Doreen, it's so powerful that I recognize how much we've protected ourselves and how easy it is to put a wall around our heart so that we don't feel the hurt. Yet when we place that wall, obviously we're limiting our most powerful source. And so it's interesting when that wall starts to come down, how much love then we get to feel, because it's so common for all of us.
It comes through us. We're not blocking it.
And even like what HoniB reminds me a lot that I constantly look at is looking at our posture. Many times when we look at our posture and our shoulders come down, we hunch in. What are we doing? We're closing our heart. So the more we can open our heart and be of that, then it opens up. So thank you, Doreen, for sharing, because I find this is a time where our heart has to take center stage, and we have to let go of this protection. Not to say we still keep a beautiful aura of light around us and create the healthy boundaries for those energies we don't want to be a part of our space, yet still shine that love and compassion, our fullness, without walls protecting. I don't want to be alive anymore.
Who's that?
This is Turbo Common Rally 91.
Well, thank you so much for having the courage for saying that. Really, I don't know what your name is. We just know it by your YouTube name, but thank you so much for that. Fully also honoring where you are, fully embracing. I know those shoes very, very, very well. That the shoes of not wanting to be here, just not wanting to go through with it anymore. It's just been too much. I feel like I've hit my end and I want to just leave Earth. So I really hold you in that space. And I do want to share only this with you, in that there is a divine agreement that you have agreed to. For some reason, if you're going through so much of the pain, is because you have the highest level of gift that is bestowed upon you, and your ability to feel is your highest gift, yet it's been the highest level of also curse in many ways. And I also fully recognize it, know it, heartstand that space. And I want to tell you, if it's not yet your agreement to leave Earth, you can go, but they'll send you right back. They'll send you right back. Like in my case, they also send me right back. It's like, it's not time. You've got to finish this. So I invite you, I really invite you, take a little time before you observe, disconnect with him. Few things that are, for example, if you're very sensitive towards animals, don't watch anything to do with animal abuse. If you're sensitive towards like humanity, war, whatever, don't watch. Disconnect for a little while. Be more in nature, river, flowers, baby animals, and also invite more of the divine that is you, divine grace in you. Invite more of the angels in you, and ask for that higher help to help lift you. And know you're not alone. None of us came here alone. There's a team of 1,000 angels assigned to each of us. There's a team of more than 500 dragons that are assigned to each of us. We each came incarnated with such a gigantic team that there's no reason for any of us to go through it alone. And it's very important to just ask and to allow yourself. I love this conversation that Nick Hamidi and Todd were having. It was saying, like, pretend you're talking to an angel. Okay, you might think you're crazy, what have you, but what if you just do? You'll be surprised. There's a communication back in the most wonderful way, because it already is there. Your imagination will allow you to draw that stream into you, and then things will be lifted from that.
And I also want to express that you're not alone.
Yeah.
We've all been there before, and that I feel at this time frame, many people are in the same phase.
Yeah.
Many people are in a position where they just don't want to be here because this is so foreign to them. Because all we know is love, and where we've come from, we've just known this gracious level of love. And when we're hit with pain, and when we're hit with lives that just don't make sense, exactly what Honey said, really take this time to look at the natural essences that are around you. Everything within nature can be found within us. The beauty of baby goats, baby rabbits, energies that can help just bring forth. And what I love what you said, Demetrius, and I'll repeat it because you said it so well, is perseverance, resilience, courage, and strength. Those are our natural gifts. And to give yourself the permission to say, you know what, it's okay to say that. And to even give you more strength, dear heart, is the power of you to express what you just said, because that is the highest strength. That strength for you to actually express it, because by you expressing it gives the ability to fully honor the truth that's coming through. And as Honey said, with the angels, the thousands, the dragons, there's always a team around. And no matter how much we may feel alone, what these eyes may not see, there's a depth deeper that can feel and see.
Because we're moving from these 5 senses to our higher body senses, our clairvoyance, our claircognizance, our clairsentient, our clairaudient, and plus more. It's just we're moving from this limitation to the higher. So we're experiencing more, and there's more of that communication. And for you to know you're not a victim, you're part of the solution, my dear. You have always been part of a solution, and you chose with your great self, your soul, to come here to bring the light here because you knew you could and because you have the capability. So you yourself have to resurrect yourself so that you can serve it properly. And that is each of us going through it. So you're not alone. Every single one of us have been forced to go through it. So we're standing in truth. We're not standing in pretense. So you can see right through me. You can see right through Michael, and I can see right through you. And I know that pain, because that pain on the other side of it is love. That in which you've been seeking has always been seeking you. It's always been there. It just wants to reunite with you, my dear.
And we've all felt, all of us have felt we just wanted to go back home. We just wanted to leave here. We just wanted to move as quickly as
possible. How many times in our 2.5-year relationship I said, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave. I just want to, I'm going to go back to this. So I'm ready to go.
I would say more than 20, more than 30. There was a time, and it wasn't, and first it was me.
I mean, I wasn't going to take my life, but I was like, I'm done. I just need to. And part of it, I just wanted to be heard, like the heaviness of it. I want to leave.
And it was interesting because part of that, and I'm glad you said that, because it was once, in the time period where I placed a lot of challenge and stress of where I was coming from my integration with Honey. But the truth of her, of what she's expressing is, she verbally, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be with you. I'm done with all this. And it's that truth in the frustration, the anger that we accept at that moment that provides so much power, because it's being allowed
to needed to come out of me.
And even more, it's giving the focus, and most important, the attention that it's all right to express that. And it gave me the opportunity not to personalize it, not to judge it, not to defend it, just to allow what's coming through, because I just always feel this expression that's been over and over, and that too shall pass. Yeah. Change is evolution. We're constantly ascending. And honestly, we are probably moving through some of the most challenging times to get to the most beautiful, epic world that, as we saw on a very, very low scale, when we have to go through the murk of unplanned disaster areas and places that we never thought we would be, just by trusting that too shall pass, just by allowing a beautiful gem was given to us. So we understand what you're going through. And through the heart and through the love, we want to be of highest support, just to say you're not alone. Help is all around you. And we truly, truly feel you. And God bless you for expressing what you said, because it takes a lot of strength to be very bold
and just say it.
To just say it, and not feel any judgment toward yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? This goes back, if you tuned in earlier in the conversation, I was speaking exactly about this. Just like Mother Earth releases its pressures through volcano, through tsunami, through hurricane, through earthquake. These are those pressures that's built up. It just has to come out of us because it no longer wants to be held a prisoner inside. And sometimes just verbalizing it enough, that's all you need, and then boom, you can move forward, you know. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much. And Michael, can you read the rest, please?
And so, Demetrius, I feel you. My soul is very exhausted now, but I will complete my assignment mission. Demetrius, you're probably talking to two people that, I mean, one that I feel her and see her exhaustion, but this time period, I really feel we're being pushed and pressed so far that we've done this loop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, where it's just like, gosh, how many times do we have to continually go through this? And it's normal. In that state of exhaustion, just working on Honey last 2 days ago, just feeling what's going through, that it is really something that I find we have to go through it again. I have to go through it again. And just to rise and know that, we signed up for this, no matter how exhausting, no matter how difficult, we chose to be here. And the beautiful thing is we chose to come together, and to know that as we've come together in moments like this, in moments where we can just team together and just embrace each other and feel each other's exhaustion and love each other's exhaustion and honor each other's exhaustion, and know that we're here in the full support, because again, you're not alone. We feel that exhaustion, we feel that frustration, and Demetrius, I know you've
been holding it because you're part of it. Again,
yeah.
When we were part of the 144,000, we freaking chose to come forward as a transformer, not just a little tiny ball of light. Transform so much through us, and be willing to go into depth of places that most people will not be willing to go within and in the outer, and sort of like this. Michael knows, for a while I was telling him, I was like, Michael, you see, I feel like I've been holding this light like this. I'm exhausted. The other ones have to freaking come and hold it. I was like, you gotta hold this onto it. You freaking gotta show up. You're not showing up. And that was a lot of my frustration. What does it mean showing up? The other ones allowing their divinity to come forward so that we can hold this together. That we, through the Creator's love, can easily expand through us all together. All the goods that are here on earth that can start to come forward for all of us, not just a particular 13 freaking family, all of us. But why it's been exhausting, Demetrius, because there have been a few of us kind of like, popcorn. We were the first one that have pop, and we have to wait for the freaking other ones. And I'm speaking like this because I speak from the place of Michael's heard the frustration, and also including with him, like, come on, what does it take? And what it takes, again, is that individuals are still working some of the other pieces so that more of this comes. So if you're in the forefront, this mouth is closed, nothing. You take it, the sleeves are rolled up, we got this. No matter what, this is going to get done because we agreed. Simple. It's a mission. Simple. It's going to be done.
And one of the biggest virtues that all of us are going through, especially ones that move at the fastest pace, is the art of patience. And in that patience, it's a test each day to see, even though what we want to create, that patience within us is also the trust of allowing that divine timing and energy will happen exactly when the universe and the divine comes through. And so I speak in a way because I know patience is also an element that we may want something, we may feel something, but the art of how it formulates is really in God's hands. And
well, let me just speak to that because I feel it's important what Michael is saying. Then we're going to get into a couple more things and we wrap this up. Demetrius, I want to speak to you specifically. You and I, we recognize that language in we speaking. When we've been holding this and we've been waiting for the other ones to come forward, there is a frustration of the other ones delaying the process of the divine plan. And we're very aware of it. We see it, we know it, because the fears within them are taking more over them rather than coming. I went through this with Michael. It took him a while. It really took him a while. It wasn't that he wasn't ready. He was totally ready. It was his limited part of himself was not fully allowing because the trust wasn't there. So there is this art of patience, absolutely. But there's also very easy the recognition of the exhaustion and not denying that at all, because it feels imbalanced. And when we know the other one is a carrier of that light, but is not, because is allowing more of the fear take over versus allowing the love, we're allowed to get frustrated. Simultaneously, we that are holding this part of the 144,000 up front, it is also the lesson for us to know that they will become, and for us turn our frustration that we feel into seeing them in their love fullness, so that that becomes faster. That was, I feel, something that I had to really go through. Turn all this frustration I had to turn it into compassion and like trusting, yet recognize I can visualize them. I can start to use the visualization of their wholeness, and that will become faster rather than bringing my frustration. And so that was the frequency of Mary Magdalene that she brought forth. It's like, okay, here we go. This is the part, and yet also holding that accountable as well, like in just total honesty, total truth of it. So I fully recognize, and I feel that it is very important. Each of us are allowing, and you yourself is fully allowing, so you're no longer feeling frustration for another as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Anything else here? I can't read it. Thank you, Turbo.
Thank you. Evolution. Wendy said, "Evolution times red clover." Mm-hmm. Demetrius, I resonate with you. Self-mastery, patience is a virtue. Thank you, Demetrius.
Perfect.
We're on a journey, and in that journey, we are moving through many, many shifts, many, many timelines that are moving all around us. And I find that the more that we can express that love within ourselves, do the best that we can, and really apply the highest level of compassion, then those are the seeds really to help those internal levels of our self-exhaustion. And sometimes, Honey tells this many times to me that some are chosen to be the first to feel this. And many of us are...
It's not chosen, they agreed.
They agreed.
To go in the forefront.
Like in the forefront.
So they're going to experience a whole lot more.
And that can be that can feel alone, because there's times where we're feeling so much. There's that frustration, there's that natural exhaustion, and there's that feeling of like, why am I alone? Because I'm getting hit. Yet that agreement is showing that not only is it a part of the healing, but it's the part of the ascension of becoming the teacher, the guide, the leader, the master, that's feeling it. Because without feeling and experiencing it first, then we're not able to fully express it from the divinity that is coming forward. And so a lot of times in that exhaustion, just to remember that you are a master, again, coming through this life, to then share that with all the others that are here to love and grow.
And I want to switch topic real quick. Thank you, Michael, for child pornography. This is a very big one. As some of you may have noticed, there is a total crackdown on child pornography, and in every possible way, all kinds of things coming up. A lot of gurus being busted, a lot of things, showing up. And this is a huge part of a massive clear up, because it's the way it's playing out on Earth is not quite what is fully able to be comprehended from the ascension perspective. What is really taking place is the innocence of the inner child. There's an energy of the innocence of the inner child that's been literally hijacked and suppressed for eons on Earth, and really from the time of Atlantis. So what is taking place is that through this golden era, the golden child is coming back. So the areas in which this golden child has been suppressed, has been oppressed, has been humiliated, has been sort of like depressed, has been, how do I want to say, really shoved, and disempowered, that rise is coming up. So it is being played out through the exposure of the child pornography, because the opposing energies of dark force, the highest level of their practices in which they receive the maximum power is when they are able to scare a child. And if you saw Monsters Inc. years ago, there's a lot of that thrown in there, which if you're not aware, you're not sure what they're saying. So when a child is frightened, the dark frequency experiences the highest level of exhilaration power. That's why there's a lot, and there have been several portals on the planet that, there's been an effort in closing them. So these, from the particularly draconian and the reptilians are not utilizing that to feed themselves, because they only live on fear and anxiety, and there's nothing greater than something harm happening to a child to feed that, especially pornography. When the sexual energy is attempted as a child, that's the ultimate disempowering that child from its sacred divine source. And why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more from, like, guru. Again, I'm going gurus, a lot of things coming up. And part of it is just to, my intake in it, I just want to share this. Like, on a daily basis, I have so many messages. People ask me about John of God, because I've been there. I've been to Brazil. I've stayed there. And everybody, oh my God, did you hear? And I really want to share this, not just John of God, like Moji now and all these other ones. If they misuse their power, they're the ones who have to deal with that consciousness. That's number one. The one part that I can share from my own direct experience, when I was there, I experienced nothing but love through the community and the love portal that is there. If somebody in a human form was not able to embrace their love and gave in to their lower three chakra and misuse their energy, it will only come harm them. And also they have to deal with that in their consciousness. That's all I'm going to leave it. But there is a revelation of this exposure, because this in the collective conscious is also coming out. It started earlier with a lot of the Me Too. We're no longer taking it. We're no longer, because we're washing the shames out of us. That shame is such a heavy energy, and we don't want, and we're not going to be accept that something is wrong with us, or we're broken, or we are screwed up because we were sexually molested. None of that. That has been washing. I feel like when I first had to really face this many, many years ago, the first thing was like, God, how can I face God? I'm so disgusting. I've been sexually molested. I just felt so, the shame was so much. I couldn't even face that. Like, I just felt embarrassed being in the presence of God until I received divine. And like, no, like, I'm still as pure and beautiful and innocent as I was a child. And just because somebody misused that power, and that was an agreement me and this being had, and there's a whole lot more that will come out of it, there was a divine plan. So I really want to share this, and I feel we should dedicate a whole show just to this, another topic. But I really want to share, this is also part of the Ascension. I just wanted to just throw that in there.
So each week, or every other week now, we each have our own topic from HoniB from the Ascension, and me working with the daily guidance for your angels. So today, being day number 74, I'm going to go ahead and read a very powerful message. And before you do that, I just want you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in.
That was a very abrupt Because it was heavy conversation.
It was a very heavy conversation.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's part of this. I wanted to also discuss this.
Beautiful.
Because we have all these star things happening with Neptune and my God, like Mercury, all of this. These are all part of it. So before Michael goes into angels, I just wanted to share that this too shall pass. This too is part of ascension. This too we will embrace as a collective in our humanity, and will clear this ultimate shame and forgive. That's the most important part. Forgive every single one that misused their power for whatever reason they gave into their shadow part of themselves and allowed these darker energies to take over them. We will forgive them so that they too can come back into the light. So I just really wanted to share that again from a direct experience, because I'm on the other side of it. And Michael is a witness of the transformation that I only feel love. If anything, he showed up in my dream and he was a little child, like 7-year-old, and I just felt so much love. And he died that night in my dream. It was so amazing. Like, I felt so much love for this person. And that is the highest gift, from the depth of core of pain and being on the other side of love, for someone who sexually had abused me, to going through me being suicidal, depth of pain, hurt, hate, to then love several years now. That is a big thing.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it.
So now we can go into the angelic messages, my dear. But hold on, what is this one first?
Michael, you will accept my friend. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course. But of course.
Thank you.
Of course, my dear.
Okay.
Please. Sometimes I'm delayed on all levels and stuff right there. So thank you. Thank you, dear heart. So let us just go place our hands over our heart. 2 more deep breaths in. And exhaling out. Last deep breath in. And keeping your hands over your heart. Listening to this beautiful message of day 74.
Let me bring the little angel chime for us.
And receive the message. Just as you like pleasant surprises, other people also enjoy receiving something that wasn't anticipated. Planning such a gift is an act of nurturing love. You receive inspiration as to the nature of the treat. Spend time organizing its elements, and then experience the joy of sharing it with the recipient. Spontaneous surprises such as heartfelt compliment or an unexpected offer of help are so invaluable. Whether you give to another person, you're in truth giving to yourself, as you and the receiver are one. You're also putting energy out into the universe, signaling that you enjoy happy surprises yourself. Life responds in kind by delivering wonderful delights to you in an abundant flow of giving and receiving. Enjoy the unexpected today, both in what you give and what you receive. Stay alert and notice anything beautiful or unusual. Surprises come in many forms. The thought for today, as I read this, I would like you to repeat this. I take great delight in creating a happy surprise for someone special.
I take great delight in creating a happy surprise for someone special.
As we share in this gift,
As we share in this gift,
we are momentarily transported to a place of childhood awe.
we are momentarily transported into a place of
Childhood awe.
Childhood awe.
And the universe delivers wonderful things.
And universe delivers wonderful things to
me as well.
Me as well.
Aho.
Aho. See, such a delight. You didn't even notice it. So that was for you. You can't see it though. That was a lovely one. Okay, and let us see what the Ascension Oracle cards have to say for us, for our collective group here today. This beautiful circle of love we have. Let's see. So this is from Master Katumi. Master Katumi is the world teacher. In his incarnations as Saint Francis, Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal, and Melchior, one of the wise men, Lord Katumi practiced harmlessness, love, and wisdom. These energies are encapsulating in this card. So you are encouraged to spread knowledge and spiritual truth to others with humility and inspiration. Be ready to learn, for Lord Katumi is drawing your attention to something important. He is a member of the Great White Brotherhood of Golden Rope, those who take in and transmute the pain of the world. If you are sensitive to energies, ask him to wrap you in his light. You might want to close that, Michael. The affirmation: I am open to learning and teaching. So that's the affirmation. You can say together with me: I am open to learning and teaching. I am open to learning and teaching. I'm open to learning and teaching. And so it is. Yeah, so good. So much love. So we're just about to wrap up now as Michael is taking. So I don't know if you can hear. This is the mail carrier that comes. He couldn't possibly be louder at this time always. It's just so loud. And I've never understood why it's so loud, you know? So Michael, let's finish this up. I was sharing how that's our mail carrier. He is just
excited.
So loud. Yeah, you know what it is? I feel like sometimes it's that loudness. It's just the ego so wants to be heard, so he has to speak louder and louder.
Or the excitement could be so happy that they're expressing their joy.
It could be, but it's just so loud, Michael. And even if it's not, then if nobody's there, he's on the phone. So loud.
There's another person there.
Well, today it was.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Love to him. So let us go ahead and close up this beautiful Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk. We're so grateful that we got to be with you today and share with you. Anything I need to read?
That's good right now. Yeah.
Okay. So here's our closing. Dear Mother, Father God, dear Sacred Heart of Christ, thank you for this ray of Christ on our planet, in our hearts, in our vibration, the Christed being that we are. Thank you to the Lords of Karma, to the Great White Brotherhood of Light, the Ascended Masters, the Ashtar Command, our star brothers and sisters, the Intergalactic Councils and the Galactic Federation of Light, our beautiful ancestors, our beautiful guardians, our beautiful angel guards and archangels, the team of dragons and the unicorns and the rays of the Kohans of light. Thank you, crystal beings, the rock beings, the elemental kingdoms. Thank you to all the nature kingdoms. Thank you to the plants and animal life. And thank you for all living consciousness in all planets, all systems, all intelligence where the divine is breathing through. May we feel the connection of oneness inside and allow ourselves to be lifted to the Creator's oneness energy, and allowing ourselves to remember that we are part of divine plan. We are all the chosen one, as we chose in our soul to incarnate on earth and bring through the incredible victory and fulfillment of the divine plan through our light, through our love, through our collaboration, through our creative expression. And with that, we embrace this portal of this YouTube, this Facebook, this gathering in which has brought us together. We're so grateful in all these ways in which we're coming together, strengthening our light, strengthening our heart, so that we can be heard and we can share and we can feel right with each other. So much love from my heart to yours, from Michael's heart to yours, from our home to yours, under the frequency of the spring equinox, with the new sprouts, the beautiful innocence coming forth. May we shine and allow it fully, protect it beautifully, and also embrace it totally and heartfully. Infinite love. Aho namaste en lakesh banuresh house house. Have a most magic filled day. We'll see some of you this Sunday at our Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle that we have here, our 1 hour Sunday church love, our love church. It is also available on live stream right here that you can watch and hear the message that our beautiful brother Tino Ramirez is going to share. We also welcome those of you that will be seeing Michael on tomorrow at Rising Phoenix. And also on the 30th, you will be at Rise Wellbeing Center. And those of you who will be joining us in person on Rising Phoenix on the 6th for the Light Code transmissions. And at the end of April, we'll be in South Carolina. We can't wait to be in Bluffton. Thank you, Tanya. She's hosting us. We're so excited to come to South Carolina. So please connect with us. And in July, we will be in Ontario, Canada. Finally, thank you, Maida. We're going to bring the Light Code transmissions there as the group, as well as Michael will facilitate the powerful Archangel Michael transformation healing, just so we can support those communities. We cannot wait to see you. So much love. Aho namaste. En lakesh banuresh. I said that and I love saying it again. Have a wonderful day. Aho. If this served you in any way, please share the video. As soon as you disconnect this, it is available on YouTube. Welcome you to put your comment in there and share it. Help others.
Blessings. Have a beautiful Friday.
Bye-bye.
Happy spring.
Happy spring.